En Cuba se agudiza la escasez de combustible y el poco petróleo que queda en la isla se está acabando, explican los expertos. Las clases han sido suspendidas en muchas escuelas, los trabajadores han sido enviados a sus casas para ahorrar energía, muchos hospitales estatales han recortado servicios. Además, la falta de camiones recolectores provoca que la basura se acumule, hay dificultades para el abastecimiento de alimentos y prácticamente no hay turistas. Por la noche, la mayor parte de La Habana permanece sumida en una oscuridad casi total. El gobierno del presidente Donald Trump ha cerrado el flujo de petróleo hacia Cuba tras la acción militar en Venezuela y las amenazas de aranceles sobre México si abastece a la isla. De esta manera, busca forzar a La Habana a hacer reformas políticas y económicas significativas. Ante la creciente escasez, el presidente de Cuba, Miguel Díaz-Canel, llamó a la población, y cito textualmente, a resistir creativamente y agregó que hay que adoptar una mentalidad de tiempo de guerra.
Mark Zuckerberg walked in the front door of the Los Angeles Superior Courthouse Wednesday morning and walked out the back door that afternoon. In the intervening hours, the Meta CEO took the stand in a landmark trial. Zuckerberg testified before a jury for the first time ever about accusations that social media, including Instagram, is harmful to children's mental health. A 20-year-old woman identified only as Kaylee accuses Meta and YouTube of designing addictive features that hooked her as a small child, causing anxiety, depression, and body dysmorphia. Meta denies those allegations and says it's implemented numerous measures to safeguard young users. At the core of Zuckerberg's testimony were questions about what Meta knew about the potential risks to young people and whether it did enough to mitigate them. Before Wednesday's proceedings began, nearly a dozen parents who say their children were harmed gathered and joined hands outside the courthouse. But there was also an acknowledgement of the importance of this moment in the landmark trial.
Today was the most important day for us to understand the truth of what happened and what was known.
Andrew Mountbatten was taken from his home on the Norfolk estate, the one that Charles had put him in because he had been evicted from his previous one because of his Epstein links, and he is now in police custody, which is extraordinary when you consider that a senior member of the royal family could be sitting in a police cell right now, not getting any special privileges at all, because the police will want to make clear this is an entirely independent police investigation. We've had the Prime Minister coming out today saying no one's above the law. We've got the King saying that he supports this investigation wholeheartedly. He refers to him in a statement as Andrew Mountbatten-Windor, not his brother. He's doing everything he can to distance himself and protect the monarchy and keep Andrew's story as far away as possible, but he couldn't avoid it. I have to say, an extraordinary moment from the King to put out a personal statement. Andrew could be held for 12, 24, even up to 4 days. The police investigation, he could then be charged. It's a hugely complicated, historic case, so the police have got a huge amount to get through.
Meet Punch. This 6-month-old Japanese monkey was abandoned by his mother at birth, but zookeepers stepped in, caring for him day and night by hand. And his surrogate mom? A plushy orangutan that is now his safe place and a stand-in for his mother's fur. Punch's story went viral, with many both on and offline cheering him on. Now he is slowly joining the troupe, but still clings to his stuffed friend.